Awesome. Are we recording it, Jeff?
We certainly are.
Fabulous. So hello and Merry Christmas to everyone. Welcome to our very last webinar for this year. So as always, we'll kick off with a couple of housekeeping notes. So this webinar will be recorded and we will share it on our YouTube channel and through our monthly emails as always. So if you miss anything or want to share this with your colleagues, you'll have that option. We encourage you to engage with us. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, you can ask them in the chat and we'll address all of your questions at the end. And obviously, please let us know at any point if there are any technical issues. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce everyone. My name is Olivia and I am the head of the traffic team at Wonks. We have Nick, our senior BDM here, and of course our presenter for today's webinar is our CEO, Jeff McGregor.
Hello, everyone.
I'll pass you over to Jeff.
Do you want to do your housekeeping? There is housekeeping to do, Olivia.
I did just do my housekeeping.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, apologies. It's all a bit rinky-dink today. My camera broke before this was meant to go live, and I had to restart my computer, and I'm a little bit on the back foot. But anyway, we today are going to have a shorter webinar in the holiday spirit. It's time to jump to the holidays. And the reason for that really is because this is the third of 3 webinars that go together. So the first one was our Black Friday, how to get your content together, how to get your inventory and your collateral and what exactly you're going to say. The second webinar, which we held last month, was about the channels that you're going to advertise on and your organic posting. And then today is kind of like following through from that Black Friday period. How are you going to maximize the December Christmas period? So the first thing that we'll look at is Christmas trading. Then we'll take a quick look at the content review from part 1, advertising review from part 2, what the Christmas content calendar should look like, some international trends, current data that we're seeing for our clients, and then dates to be aware of. And then, of course, at the end, we will have our lucky prize draw. So Christmas 2023 in New Zealand, there was some growth. What we see here is that online spending was up by 5%, which was higher than the in-store spending. But as you can see there, online spending at 1.6 billion is still very limited compared to the 1.4 billion that is from in-store, so 10%. And for our larger retail clients with multi-store footprints, we do see that the 10 to 15% revenue picture is about where they're holding against the store revenue. So there is obviously a point of diminishing returns. And just as a segue for a moment, talking to that point, we have a client who has multiple stores across New Zealand who is doing incredibly well online, but their store visit numbers are down and their store revenue is down. And that is a byproduct of a lower investment in advertising for the particular brand for that company. And so their choice this year, and it's worked very well for them from an online revenue point of view, has been to push the product. But they did that at the expense of their own company brand. And now they're starting to see the results of that and the penalty of that because they're not getting that footfall through the door. So it's something to remember that while it is always good to push product, and if you're seeing the revenue come through your cart, through your online activity, that's fantastic. If you're not getting the same through your physical stores, you do want to make sure that you are pushing that along, because as you can see here, there is still a lot of room for that malls and high streets, main streets throughout the country. So a lot of the information that was coming through here was all for New Zealand, was all on the quarter, so the December quarter. It did say that a total of 14 billion was spent in December of 2023, as you can see at the bottom there, and the big number, it's set around 30 billion was spent across that quarter in New Zealand. So when we compare that to the number that we see in Australia, we see that they had 35 billion in a single month. So we had it across 3 months in New Zealand, and they had it in 1 month. Now, the numbers of people in Australia, my understanding is around 25 million, and we have 5 million in New Zealand. So it's a 5-to-1 ratio, but we're not seeing that in terms of the ratio. There was a higher spend, if you will, in New Zealand compared to the spend in Australia. But of course, the total value in Australia is a lot higher. However, it was more subdued than it was. So it was only 0.8% higher in Australia than it was in New Zealand for last year. And a lot of that was put down to the cost of living crisis. And I think that will continue into this year. The stats that I get come from, the majority of them come from New Zealand Post, and they come from Stats NZ, and then Statistics Australia. And then there's also some other information that comes from a variety of sources in Australia for some of the details that I see. Australia Post doesn't give a lot of information out, but it is useful. So you can see there that department stores are up, which is surprising because it's not what we see in New Zealand. But that household goods saw a decline. Again, that's not what we're seeing in New Zealand, because if you look at Kmart and you look at Briscoe's, both of them are posting really high profit numbers as compared to what we're seeing with, say, the Warehouse. So the numbers in Australia and New Zealand are different, and it's very much obviously being in Sydney, there are 5 million people in one city. In New South Wales, obviously a little bit larger. It's dependent on what you're seeing in your market. And unfortunately, as I said, it's difficult to drill the information down further. I will touch on our own metrics when we get a little bit deeper into the webinar. So if you are joining us for the first time and you haven't seen the other webinars that we had in the series, it's important to understand that the marketing that you're going to do for Christmas is not going to be in isolation. It should have a plan behind it, and you're very much wanting to make sure that you have a landing page for each of the campaigns that you're running. Our research has shown, and certainly from our clients, has proven that when you send a client to a landing page with specific information about that particular product, you're more likely to get an inquiry or a sale than if you were to send them directly to the home page. So take that time and consideration to create that landing page. Additionally, making sure that you have specific inventory that you're looking to promote for that period, rather than it just be, hey, we're going to put everything on sale. You might want to look at cycling through. This week is going to be that category, and the next week a different category, and slice up how you look at things. I will touch on the promo calendar when we get to that period. Obviously, having a promotional offer throughout that period is good. I was having a conversation with a retail client yesterday, and they were talking about how their Black Friday numbers really began at the beginning of November. And if you recall back to our first webinar where we were seeing fake Black Friday. So fake Black Friday was actually this Wednesday last week. If it was 2023, the numbers will always change. Black Friday being this coming Friday, the 29th of November. But having a different promo each week is actually quite useful. Having a different promo for different products is also useful, rather than just having the one static thing that you're going to advertise. So for the month of December, or realistically the 3 weeks of December that you're going to be able to advertise and have marketing, I'd very much recommend that you have a different message each week. The length of the promo, again, a little bit less relevant here because you only got 3 weeks, whereas for a lot of clients, Black Friday, they were advertising from the beginning of November. Some almost were doing that into October. So knowing what you're doing there is important. And then collateral. So having the web page, we talked about the landing page, imagery, videography, and copy for each of the landing page, each of the products, each of the promos is important, rather than just using the same branded or generic content that you have been using throughout the year. Have a step change. Make it Christmas orientated. Have a nice little hat. I got this out of my daughter's bedroom. I hope she doesn't mind. And I put these lovely little lights at the top of the webinar. So, just a little bit of extra work makes things go a long way. If we look at getting your campaigns ready, which was, I'm getting some love out of that, thank you. In terms of the getting your campaigns ready, this was the October webinar, the second in our series, and this was really around that campaign activation. So what channels can you be using to promote your business? We looked at organic posting. That's always something that you should do. But as I suggested in that webinar, if you are not doing it currently and you are not committed to it, don't do it at all. My recommendation is, if you're not prepared to engage on social media, simply have your page ready and up, have no posting on it, just have the contact details for your business. That's better than having a post every third or fourth month that's not being engaged with, that really looks like a barren desert. If you are committed to your organic posting, you want to build an engaged audience. And quite frankly, for us, for example, digital marketing, I shouldn't say this, but it's pretty dry, it's pretty boring. It's not exactly getting people out of bed and excited. So we don't promote it, we don't post. We do put our webinars out there, obviously, and we use paid advertising, and you can see there, Google, Meta, X, TikTok is one of those growing channels, growing platforms. And in my research for Christmas trading, I did see that a lot of the younger generation are being targeted there. Although when we get to it and we look at the metrics, as one might understand, younger individuals don't have much money and they don't spend as much. And so, yes, while it is important that you are targeting all different demographics, ages, genders, locations, devices, make sure you're looking at where the money is, where the opportunity sits. So having those channels available. Email marketing, always a winner. The best and most successful e-commerce clients use email marketing, and then test and iterate the success of each of those campaigns throughout that particular trading period, throughout the 3 weeks of Christmas. So you can see that webinar online. You can go to our YouTube channel and you will find that in our webinar playlist. So having a plan, and this is quite similar to what we just discussed last month, this should be a mix of on and offline activity. Now, obviously, if you are an online only business, very difficult for you to do real world activity. So, understand that. But for probably the majority of our retail clients do have a physical store. There are those that have an online only presence. And so, obviously there's going to be horses for courses, but I do recommend that you have a content calendar. So similar to the Black Friday one, we do have a Christmas content calendar. There are some simple tips and tricks for you to use in store to help drive engagement and build a database. So if you have a point of sale in the business, having a QR code to tell someone that they're going to go in the draw to win a Christmas hamper, for example, as long as they supply a email and phone number, is a great way to build your database, because they might not actually purchase. It might be that I've been dragged along with my wife to go Christmas shopping, and because of that, I'm really not paying attention to what she's doing, but I say, hey, I could win something here, so I'm going to snap, and all of a sudden I'm in the mailing list, and now the company has an opportunity to market to me. So there is an argument to be had that you should be targeting all people, and whether or not it's a hamper or it's a 10% discount code or whatever it is that you want to do, there's a real opportunity for that. We do a lot of work with nationwide jewelers who are a buying network across Australasia. They're a wonderful group of people. In fact, the clients that we work with from nationwide are fantastic. They're really, really good people. I have presented at several of the seminars there, and there is a company called the Bon Bon Club, and they are amazing. Their product is a Christmas tree that is put up in each of the jewelers' stores, and there are Christmas crackers. Now, one of the Christmas crackers has, I don't know, $1,000, let's say. All the other Christmas crackers have like maybe a dollar, or they have a little piece of jewelry. So every person that purchases in store can take a Christmas cracker off the tree and they win a prize. And their statistics have shown that the jewelers that had been using that Bon Bon Club program had seen incredible growth in their in-store sales and in-store revenue because it draws in the punters. It gets people coming in because it's a bit of fun. It's something different to what they're getting elsewhere. And so it's what can you do with your business to drive in-store engagement. Now, we do have a Christmas calendar that we updated. So Sunday, the 1st. This is very similar to the Black Friday organic posting that I had. So I'll touch on the Christmas one, and then I'll touch on the campaign activation, which relates to the previous slide in a moment. So what we have here, and by all means, you can inquire and we can give you a copy of this. I'm more than happy to do so. But you can also slice and dice however you want. You don't have to use this at all. But what was said is that on the 1st, the organic posting is going to relate to a product. So that might be gifts for him, gifts for her. On the 2nd, it's going to be in store. That might be pushing to Bonbon Club. If you don't have that set up, you could go spin to win. You could have tonight we're open late. Different days of the week are going to be different for different locations, malls, main streets, and the like. And then on the Wednesdays, we have brand ideas, which are very much about you and building up your business and why you are the one that they should be coming to. That might be you're successful in the community. It might be as the number of our clients had 25th or 30th birthdays this year, and they've been around for a long time. Anything that really relates back to you. It's important that not every post is about selling, right? Like if it's push, 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 people are not really into that. Whereas if you're subtle about it, you still can weave in product, but you want to be circumspect about how you do that. And that's why with our post guidelines, we do recommend that you have product details, price, discount, offer, a clear call to action, a description, image, and video. And I should probably include a link back to the particular landing page or product. Now, on the campaigns that I talked about, just briefly go over this. Again, more than happy to share this with anyone who's in the webinar today or anyone who is watching this on our channels after. And bearing in mind that today's the 27th of November, potentially you may be watching this in 2025 and getting ready for your 2025 Christmas trading. That definitely happened for clients who saw our 2023 webinars and content that we put up. But what was suggested here is the different campaign types. So in green, Google campaigns, and the orange color, Meta campaigns, and testing those with some email marketing going out. Week 2, and we had the budgets. Week 2, we introduced a new type, which was X. In this instance, you might use TikTok, you might use Bing. There's a variety of different online channels that you might use. Traditional media also has online channels that you might wish to purchase. So something to look at there. And then in week 3, week 4, which in this case would just be week 3 for December, you might look at which was the best performing campaigns from the previous 2 weeks and where are you going to invest your budget. And that comes back to that test and iterating of your successful campaigns. Don't just set it and forget it. Take a look at where the revenue's coming from, where are the leads coming from, where is the money. That's where you should be driving your investment. So, some international insights. So as Australasia is a small market, what can we learn from overseas? And it can be a bit difficult because in America, they haven't had as much of an impact in their economy. The New Zealand economy has been in recession for almost 2 years. The Australian economy, I think, might be in a technical recession. Certainly, they've got high interest rates, and the Reserve Bank is not looking to lower those rates anytime soon. However, they are still struggling, as we saw earlier. Things are tight. So when looking at international trends, most of it is geared toward the US, some of it is geared toward Europe, but at the bottom of the South Pacific, we're pretty much ignored. So that doesn't mean to say that you can't use some of these insights. There is some validity to it. Accenture, for those that don't know, sort of global monolithic advertising company who does pretty much everything. They said that there was going to be a 4% increase in people's spend in the US. that roughly equates to about just over $1,000, almost $1,100 in New Zealand spend. So I hope that my wife is going to spend $1,100 on me. Probably it's going to be $1,000 on the kids and $100 on me. Nevertheless, those are high numbers. I'd like to see the numbers for New Zealand. I'm not sure what they look like, and for Australia. Don't know that they'd be that high. Despite being a popular choice among holiday shoppers, gift cards were seen to be two things. So on one hand, people don't like getting a gift card because they see it as impersonal, and they see it as you didn't put any effort into it. But you as a retailer might quite like gift cards, because if someone doesn't redeem them, someone has paid you money for nothing. And so gift cards can actually be, I suggest this, obviously honor all your gift cards. And I was talking to one of our clients the other day, and they are, again, a multi-store format retailer, very strong, been with us for a very long time in the golfing industry. They honor their gift cards. I think that they had a gift card come in from like 1995 and they honored it. And so that's fantastic, testament to them. But horses for courses, of course. And if you have an expiry date of 12 months and someone doesn't validate it, then I guess you get that revenue. Baby boomers, the least likely to scale down. Great, good for them. Whereas Gen Z, I don't even know what these gens are. Like, I don't know who's Gen X, Gen Z. My daughter, Skibbity and Sigma and Rizzler and all sorts of different things. I don't know what half the stuff is that she's talking to me about. So I don't know which Gen Z is. I might be Gen Z. Not sure. Anyway, less spending. So we'll look at the demographics in a moment to see who is good at spending money. 50% of shoppers rate discounts. Again, discounts and coupons are not big in Australasia, obviously big in America, but potentially something to look at for your own business, and not just for Christmas trading, but for the new year. Like, what can you do? It obviously helps if you're doing traditional advertising and you put a coupon in the newspaper or have a code on a radio ad that someone then redeems. It does give validity to your marketing, which you wouldn't have otherwise gotten if they were just, calling the phone number or going to the website. So that's good. But everyone loves a bargain. Is the warehouse's motto, I guess. And so by giving someone a discount, they are obviously going to be inclined to come into your store versus someone else. Buy now, pay later. So this chart is 2022, and you can see it sort of dived. And I believe in New Zealand, one or two of the buy now, pay later businesses actually went out of business. Lay-by went out of business, and that, I guess, maybe speaks to their business practices more than the industry, because what we're now seeing is quite an increase in buy now, pay later services. So definitely something that if you have in your carts for your online shopping, if you've got a buy now, pay later option, we do see that does have success for a lot of our online clients. And then, so this one was, where are people saying they rate value for money as their top priority, which is, pretty self-explanatory. Customer service at 45. I guess you want good customer service, but when you're getting a cheap product and you're doing it online, you're probably not even interacting with anyone. So that's neither here nor there. Right. So current market data, what has been happening during the month of November? Well, I can tell you it has been fantastic. I'll show you our live dashboard in a moment, but this was taken yesterday, 33.5, and I'll show you, remember that number, 33.5 from yesterday to today. Transactions are up. Conversion value is not up massively, but that's not a normal metric to move a lot. But what we are seeing is that really strong growth in the revenue numbers, but the user numbers, while they've grown, haven't grown as much compared to the revenue. 65 plus, and then the 55 to 64 demographics are the biggest spenders. Paid ads are the largest channel, followed by organic. And though the numbers today show us that the lead generation for the service industry is better, it is still subdued. Now, that is subdued for, we believe, two reasons. One, because the market hasn't fully turned yet. And two, because of the seasonality that is going on. People are starting to switch off and go into holiday mode, and they're obviously going into retail mode. Now, if I look at our dashboard, I'll refresh it because we might have gotten a few extra dollars in the tin. 33667 it was. Still the same number. What I love to see is all of the green ink. So everything is up, and you'll see it was 33.5 yesterday. We are 45.6 month-on-month increase in revenue for the clients that we monitor and manage. So really strong numbers. This would make it the highest number for revenue for the year for a single month, although we track, when we look at channel trend, month to month, not 30 days. So really strong to see this, really glad to see this. If we look at demographics, we'll see here that we've got more or less a 50-50 split, so 50% mobile, 46 desktop, and some tablet. And though the engagement rate on a smart TV is the highest, smart TV doesn't even factor in yet when it comes to transactions. I don't expect that would be the case, but I was using my son's PlayStation yesterday, and in order to buy a game, I had to use a QR code, and that is a method of tracking from smart TVs. And that speaks to the type of ad that you're running. So if you're just taking your 90-second ad that you had on your website and you're putting that on YouTube, probably not going to get that same level of engagement. If you mature it and action it and know that you're placing your ads on a smart TV, and smart TVs in terms of YouTube usage is through the roof. Like, so many more people now are watching on their screens, on their TV screens, YouTube, rather than terrestrial video TV. You need to be aware of that and know that they're not obviously going to click from that ad through to your website. Give them a QR code. If we look at the data here, so unfortunately, since GA4 turned on, we really lost a lot of demographic data, which is why we see that 80% of our gender is unknown, and why a significant number of our age is unknown. But if we were to take a level of regressional statistics and apply it to what data we do have, we'll see that the largest number of transactions are coming from that 65 plus market, and then down to the 55 to 64. Must be total users is higher, but the total number of transactions, that 45 to 54. So basically it goes backwards in age band in terms of how much revenue is being spent. If we look at channels, we'll see here that organic search actually has just picked the post. So I said in that previous slide that it was paid search. Actually, as of today, organic search has drawn in the most revenue, followed by paid search, and then direct. If we drop down unassigned, typically that's going to be Google My Business. It could be a referral. So it's not unusual, but then we see email bringing in a fair number. Organic social, and this is where I really point to a lot of our clients who spend significant money on social, 18,000 out of 3.6, not the highest number in the world. So if we go down to where we see that, again, paid revenue. So this is just seeing the sequencing of what we get here, and then year to date, some detail around the percentages of what we're seeing for the month. Direct is pretty much everything's in alignment. There's not too much of a change there. Channel trend, you'll see our highest revenue for the year so far was April at 3.4 million. Now we're above that, but as I said earlier, this is tracking month to month, not 30-day period. And so we'll see that by the end of the month, so we've got another 3 days to go. I suspect that number is going to sit up here, which is great because we've addressed the decline and we're seeing the increase. Total users is staying pretty consistent. You can see that stayed consistent. And then the conversion value is now higher. Conversions, which I'll show you on the screen, are treated as phone link click, form submission, and email link click. Now, again, a board of green. Really happy to see it. It's fantastic. But still, even though it says this is up by almost 10%, 15%, 11%, it's only erasing the losses that have occurred over the last 3 months, and they have been quite pronounced. So it's going to take another 2 to 3 months before we are at a place where we're able to say the service sector has rebounded. So while it's positive to see that the increase in inquiry has come through, and we can see that the total conversions are up 20%, it's still not enough to have removed the losses that we saw for the preceding quarter. So getting to the end of it, just the dates to be aware of, and that's shipping cutoff dates for retailers in New Zealand. Business shipping closes on the 23rd. Residential shipping closes on the 20th. Rural shipping on the 19th. The numbers in Australia, or the dates in Australia, are a bit different. Parcels do change by state. So the Northern Territories, Tasmania, and Western Australia do cut off earlier because they have a distance to go. And so most close on the 20th of December. Express Post, 20th or the 23rd. And if you want to send me a present from Australia to all of our Australian clients, you'll need to do that by the 16th of December. So feel free to send me gin, maybe Bacardi, or a smile, one of those. So that is us. I know that we've whipped through this one a lot quicker. Obviously, we will be putting this on our YouTube, on X, on LinkedIn, on Santa's sleigh, so that he can beam it down to all of the little kids across the world. But a lot of what I discussed today said somewhat covered, and I didn't want to go over the same ground again. And so if you do have any questions, then now is the time to ask. If, of course, you have any desire to work with us further, please don't hesitate to get in touch. So are there any questions today, Livy?
I haven't seen any questions come through today, Jeff.
A quiet bunch today. So you can see what we covered here: Christmas trading, content review, advertising review, content calendar, international trends. I did show you our metrics, dates to be aware of. I'll reverse that. So, young Nicholas, do we have a...
We do have a winner. Ryan from Magnetite. You are the lucky winner. $500.
Mate, good on you. The team will be in touch to organise that.
Nice one. Yeah. That'll come in handy for Christmas.
Yes, it shall. Yes. Yep. We've had quite a lot of uptake from that this year. We've been very, very glad to see the number of people that have been attending the webinars, and actually all of the people that see the webinars afterwards. My favourite is on X, actually. We get a lot of people bookmarking, liking, and then following us. And so if you don't currently use X to advertise, I do recommend that you go there, taking away all the politics of that particular platform. The user numbers and the engagement on that platform outstrip pretty much every other channel at the moment. So really, really glad to see it. This is our last webinar for the year. We may change this format next year, but we will investigate that and come back in the new year. We will have something. We'll have content that goes out. That will be in February of next year. If you have any urgent requests, because if you wanted Christmas advertising to happen now, it's a bit late. We can help you, but you know, we're pushing to get things done. Most of our work is already booked in. But if you did need something, don't hesitate to get in touch. Of course, If you would like to work with us in the new year, a lot of our service-based clients, those in the trades especially, plumbing, electrical, construction, have been getting in touch and saying they want to hit the ground running in 2025. So please don't hesitate to get in touch, and one of the team will be there. Do either Olivia or Nick want to say anything to our wonderful viewers?
I just want to wish everyone a wonderful Christmas and a very, very, very happy New Year. It's been a hard one, but an also epic one, I think, in 2024. So really looking forward to what 2025 is going to bring us. And I wish you all the best for the new year.
Thanks, everybody, for your attendance, and hope you have a very Merry Christmas and stay safe. And we will see you again in 2025.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.